I was at the office that afternoon, drowning in paperwork, when my phone buzzed with a notification. Absent-mindedly, I checked it. It was a social media post from my wife. The caption made my chest tighten, asterisk, some husbands think they can't be replaced. Asterisk at first, I brushed it off as one of those vague quotes people share. But the timing, the wording, and the boldness of it dug into me. Why would she post that? And why while I was away working to provide for us? I tried to focus back on my work, but the words replayed in my head like a mocking echo. That evening, when I came home, she acted normal, too normal. She asked about my day, served dinner, and smiled like nothing had happened. I didn't mention the post. Instead, I decided to keep my eyes open and see where this trail led. Something told me it wasn't just harmless words. Over the next few days, I noticed changes. She was always glued to her phone, smiling at texts, locking the screen when I came near. Her nights out with friends became frequent, and her excuses got weaker. One night she claimed she was at her sister's, but I knew her sister was out of town. That was the moment my suspicion solidified into certainty. I installed a tracking app on her phone while she was asleep. It wasn't something I ever imagined doing, but I needed answers. The very next evening, while I sat in the office, I saw her location ping at a hotel on the other side of town. My heart pounded in my chest. I knew I had to face the truth, even if it destroyed me. Instead of storming there in anger, I decided to stay calm. I gathered evidence, screenshots of her posts, her messages, her location history. It was painful, but I wanted to make sure when the time came, I wouldn't just be the angry husband shouting accusations. I wanted undeniable proof. When she came home later that night, her hair messy and her excuses weak, I smiled and told her I was tired. But inside, I was burning. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering how long she had been betraying me while I broke my back to give her comfort. The next weekend, I pretended to have an urgent work trip. I left early in the morning, suitcase in hand, but instead of heading to the office, I parked near the hotel she frequented. Hours later, she showed up, dressed carefully, her face glowing in a way I hadn't seen in years. She walked inside holding hands with a man I didn't recognize. The sight pierced through me like a knife, but my anger turned into something sharper, revenge. I didn't confront her then. Instead, I started planning. Quietly, I met with a lawyer, explained the situation, and handed over all the evidence. Since most of the assets were in my name, my position was stronger than I imagined. My lawyer assured me I could protect myself from her and even turn the tables. For days, I acted normal at home, even kinder than usual. I complimented her, bought her small gifts, pretended nothing was wrong. I wanted her guard completely down. She laughed at my kindness, thinking she had fooled me completely, but she had no idea what was coming. Finally, on a calm Friday evening, I put the plan into motion. Over dinner, I slid a folder across the table. Inside were printed screenshots, hotel receipts, and pictures I had taken myself. She flipped through them, her face draining of color. I didn't shout, didn't curse. I just told her softly, "You thought I couldn't be replaced? The truth is, you already replaced me. But now, you're the one about to lose everything." Her hands shook, and she tried to speak, but I cut her off. I told her I had already filed for divorce and that her betrayal meant she'd leave the marriage with nothing. I told her the house, the car, and even the savings were protected. All she'd have was the man she risked everything for. She begged, cried, and even tried to turn it back on me, accusing me of being cold and distant. But her words meant nothing. She had made her choices. I had given years of loyalty, and she threw it away for fleeting excitement. Now she would live with the consequences. A week later, she moved out. I watched her pack her bags, her once proud smile gone, replaced with regret and fear. The man she cheated with didn't even show up to help her. She walked out of my life the same way she had walked into the hotel, thinking she was gaining something better, but in reality, she was losing everything. Months passed, and I rebuilt myself. Friends who had seen her post whispered that karma had arrived fast. She had mocked husbands for thinking they couldn't be replaced, but now she was the one who had been discarded, both by me and by the man she gambled our marriage for. I moved on with peace in my heart. My revenge wasn't loud or violent. It was quiet, precise, and complete. She thought she could replace me, but in the end, I proved she was the one no one wanted to keep.